Welcome along to Taking the Biz. This is a channel with tutorials and exam skills videos for GCSE Business students just like you. If you're a first-time watcher, definitely think about subscribing and stay tuned, because in this tutorial we're going to investigate the topic of sole traders. So a sole traders is a business organization that is owned by just one individual. Now, don't get confused. That doesn't mean that you can't hire employees to work for you. It just means that you don't share the ownership of your business with any other individuals. And a very common exam question is to be quizzed on the potential benefits and limitations of this form of ownership. So for many, the greatest benefit of operating as a sole trader is that as the only owner, you get to keep 100% of the profits. And for people who are starting their first business organization that potentially have been working for somebody else in the past, this can be very attractive. When you're an employee, much of the benefits of the work that you create, much of the profit from the work that you produce is kept by somebody else. As a sole trader, 100% of the profit that you work hard to generate is kept by you, which can be very attractive. Perhaps even more appealing for some new entrepreneurs is the fact that they also get to have 100% of the control over the decision making in a sole traders as well. So for people who've been in employment that are used to having a boss, taking instructions, having objectives set for them, the freedom to now be in control of decision making yourself is also very appealing. Now, another benefit that we might raise when we're looking at sole traders is the type of tax that they pay as well. And this is particularly appealing when you're starting an organization that you know is going to be quite small to begin with and may not generate huge sums of profit, because sole traders pay a type of tax known as income tax, which is the same type of tax that people pay when they have a job. Now, larger organizations pay a different type of tax known as corporation tax. And with corporation tax, you have to pay tax to the government from the very first pound profit that you generate. But with sole traders, they pay income tax, and the government allows payers of income tax to earn £12,151 tax-free before they pay any tax to the government at all. So if you know that the business that you're going to start is only going to make modest profits in its formative years, the opportunity to pay income tax rather than corporation tax might be another benefit of this type of ownership. The other benefit we could refer to in our exams is just how easy sole traders are to start. There's very little paperwork. There's very little form filling in to do. There's very little what we call bureaucracy that the owners will have to keep up with. They are the simplest form of ownership to start. You literally just need a business idea and a customer and you're up and running. But there are some limitations that put some entrepreneurs off this form of ownership. Now, the first is that because you're the only owner of the organization, you're the only person that will introduce any capital to the business to get it up and running. And so this means that you'll be able to raise a smaller pot of money to start your business than if you went into business with others. And that might just limit how big your business is when you first start it, and also might limit how much you can spend on the resources you need to get your business up and running. Another potential limitation is that with 100% of the control of your business comes 100% of the pressure and responsibility as well. So you don't get to share the burden of running your business with anybody else. You don't have anybody else that can offer ideas to you at key strategic moments in the business. You have to take all of that pressure on yourself as the only owner. There's also not going to be any other owners that can cover you in the event of holidays or illness. So unless you do have employees that work for you that you could trust to run the business in your absence, which might be unlikely, your business might not be able to trade in the event of you not being available to be present. Also, as the only owner, there's going to be less opportunity for specialization. The one owner of the business is going to have many of the skills needed to run the business successfully. They might have to master the art of finance, or marketing the business, or dealing with the human resources of the organization, or producing the product or service that they sell. And they may have to fulfill all of those functions themselves, whereas in larger organizations that have multiple owners, each might be able to specialize in a different role. Final limitation we'll bring to your attention is potentially the most significant. Sole traders have something known as unlimited liability. And what that means is that in the eyes of the law, the owner of the business and their organization don't have their own separate legal identities. The owner and the business are seen as one by the law. Now, the significance of that is that if your business ends up closing and leaves behind debts, those are not the business's debts. They are yours personally. And you may be instructed to use your own personal wealth and sell off your own personal possessions in order to pay off the debts that you've accumulated whilst running your sole traders. So the fact that the business doesn't have its own separate legal identity means that any debts that are run up are your own personal debts that you might have to use your own outside wealth in order to fund. And that can be a daunting prospect to many first-time entrepreneurs and might put them off running this type of business organization. But as long as we know some of the potential advantages and limitations of operating as a sole trader, we can tick another topic off our revision timetables. Make sure you stay tuned and keep on taking the biz.